Hello, class. Good afternoon. Let us start today by learning some moral values as along with your the other subjects, education. As you need to enhance your knowledge, you need to grow your knowledge. Moral values also plays a very vital role, without which your knowledge, no matter how much you have, it, it is of no use if you don't know the basic manners, if you don't know how to behave with a person, if you don't have a good character, hmm, then all your education is worthless. So, the very first chapter of your book, this year I believe you got a new book from a different publisher which is named as Amazing Lessons for Life, a book of moral values, which has got 10 chapters. All right. And I could see in the content that each of these chapters are really very important for our life. It gives us a good message, a good learning. So, the very first chapter, which talks about courtesy. What is courtesy? My dear children, courtesy is basically, the polite behavior which is shown in terms of good manners and respect, and also as a kindness to others. Now, if we are courteous in nature, then what will happen is that ultimately it will help us in having self-respect. And when we all know that self-respect is one of the very most one of the most important aspect for living a happy life. Therefore, in simple term, if I define being good, you can say it's one of the most important features, okay, for happiness, which means courtesy. Now, if you see your page number 5 of your textbook, I would read some of the line, okay, as which is mentioned right on top in the beginning of the chapter in the form of introduction. What is courtesy? First point, it is the gift of treating others with warmth and respect. It helps us to remember our manners. Courtesy costs nothing but buys everything. Yes, it is very much true, my dear children. With good manners, with good behavior, no matter is you don't have to pay anything, but however, you can have the entire world with you just because of your behavior, just because of your manners. Next, if you light a lamp for someone, it will also brighten your path. The next point, nothing is ever lost by courtesy. It is the cheapest of the pleasures, costs nothing and conveys much. He who sows courtesy reaps friendship, and he who plants kindness gathers love. If a man be gracious and courteous to strangers, it shows he is a citizen of the world. As very often, when I believe that's my personal philosophy, I always convey to the children that even if you fail at times due to some unavoidable situations, it may happen at times during examinations, we may fall sick or various illnesses or not. At times it can happen with us. God forbids it should not happen, but just if you score less mark in some of the examinations due to some reasons which are not in your hand, that does not make a student a poor student. But however, even if you score, you may be the topmost scorer of the class. You may get cent percentage in all the subjects. But if you don't have these points, the basic points which I just read now, the very percentage which you scored, that is of no use, my dear children. So basically, courteous behavior, it requires a kind of selfless attitude, and it can give you perspective on others situations. Now, kindness and consideration can build your reputation as a kind of a respectable person, a thoughtful person, right? We all want, who does not want himself or herself to be liked by others? We all like that. But on what basis will people start liking you? not because someone is, a kind of a rich person in the society. If you think that he or she or somebody likes a person because of his financial condition, because of his richness, then you are wrong. That means that person does not like that person. He or she basically likes the financial status of that person, but not him or her as a human being. So if you want to be liked, to be loved by all, then the basic thing that you must inculcate in yourself is good manners, politeness, kindness, all right? And this all together makes courtesy. See, people, look at page 5, the third paragraph. People who lack courtesy may have trouble with their family relationships, friendships. Showing unconcern for others' feelings creates an atmosphere of tension and frustration. Sorry. Rude behavior can send a message to others that you don't accept, appreciate, or approve of them, right? Many a times, unknowingly, it may happen with us. Supposingly, if we are sad or unhappy, at times, unintentionally, we tend to, behave in a wrong manner with the person who is just next to us. And later on, we may realize that why did we do so? And because of our behavior, we will hurt that person. At the same time, we ourselves, when we will realize, if you give a thought to it, you will find that you yourself, you are not happy of because of that behavior of what you did. So basically, what happens is that it's all because of when we behaved with that particular person, we were not polite, or maybe we were rude, right? So that is what this paragraph says, that this rude people, or if you don't have a good proper behavior, if you are not concerned about others feelings, about others, you know what do you call, emotions, then ultimately it also gives a message to the others that you are not ready to accept, you are not ready to approve them, you are not ready to listen to them. That's what the message is being sent with your, through your actions, through your behavior. If you turn page 6, you see there are somewhere around 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19, some 19 small points which are very important, even though they are small. Okay, how to be courteous. I would like each one of you to memorize these points, and do not only memorize, okay, you must also practice this in your day-to-day life. As the saying goes, right? We must not only preach, we must also practice. Okay, practice means it must also be brought into action, not just memorizing things for the sake of examination or just for the sake of writing question answers. No, that is not going to help you. But in your behavior, in your day-to-day life, be at home, and be in the school, with your friends, with your parents, okay, with the elder people, with anybody, whoever it is, you must practice all those behavior. And see, ultimately, you will be loved by all, you will be liked by all, you will be appreciated, right? So go through this 19 points, how to be courteous, and start implementing in your day-to-day life. Now there's a good story which is mentioned in page 7 about polite behavior, okay, about being humble. It's about a boy and a grandmom, as an old lady, you can say that, okay, who was a grandma. She was about to cross the road and she couldn't, she needed a help. And that is where this young boy, whose name is Hari, stepped in there at that moment and helped the old lady to cross the road. So this is another small gesture, a behavior of courtesy, a behavior of politeness, a behavior of kindness, gentleness, right? Likewise, you see page number 8, a small introduction, a brief note about APJ Abdul Kalam, who is considered as the most courteous person. I would read out some of the points about him. Dr. Kalam was a great colleague too and went an extra mile for his co-worker. I hope you know he was the 11th president of India. He was also named as the Missile Man of India. When Dr. Kalam moved to Rashtrapati Bhavan, he asked all luxurious rooms to be locked up as he didn't want to use them. Another gesture. What is gesture? Your body language, your behavior. In fact, courtesy is also something like the way we speak or the clothes that we wear depending upon the occasions. That is in simple language, the way you walk, the way you talk, body language. I have observed many attempts here, body language. One very important point, my dear children, please practice this. Start with this. I would request you all to start with this. I have noticed many a times, you children, when you walk, be it in the classroom, in the corridor, you drag your feet. You're not able to lift up the feet. I don't understand. Is it so heavy to lift up your feet and walk? Which gives a very negative message about that particular student. This is not the way how a good student walks, or how a gentleman or a gentle lady walks, right? Dragging your feet, making those what do you call unwanted sound, hmm? that as if like we're human being. Walk like a human being instead of dragging like a reptile. Don't crawl, walk. So start with this, and then gradually see one today. Say you start practicing one good behavior in 1 week, next in the other week, and gradually you would see by the end of a month, 4 to 5 good behaviors will be inculcating in within yourself. All right. So about Dr. Kalam, some points are being mentioned in page 8. Next comes two more stories about good behavior, that is Bina Rao and Jadav Payang. Okay, read these two stories. Share me your understanding. What have you understood from these two stories? In fact, as this, what do you call? There are some tips also for parents, which you children can sit with your mom and dad, can sit with your grandparents, and you can discuss about this, which is mentioned in page 10. There are somewhere around 7 tips for parents as well. So you can discuss, you can share these things with your parents, and see ultimately even your parents would start kind of, it's not that they don't love you, but at times because of your ill mannered, because of you being rude, parents are hurt. No matter they love you, and whatever they do, parents, they're earning, whatever they're doing, they're all doing for you. But if you do not, they don't ask anything from you in return. They just ask you to be a good person. They just want you to study well. They just want you to learn good manners. And if you cannot give this in return, they are very much hurt, they are sad, but they are unable to express. After all, you are their children. So I would want each one of you there that learn these manners, talk with your parents about these particular tips. Okay, and see, you will be liked and loved by all. So go through this chapter of courtesy, that is good manners, being gentle, being polite, right? And start practicing these things. Do not only read, close the book, and keep it aside. Start practicing. Start doing it daily. Being at home, start from your home, right? Home is the first school. So start from there. And see, gradually you will be able to notice in yourself a big change. So study well, okay? Be at home and be safe.